It's now only 5 days to Election Day in Osun State, and as political activities intensify, with security remaining a major concern, we're joined by lawyer Okiki Adeniran in the studio here to examine the final preparations, the security situation, and also what is at stake in this crucial poll. So, Okiki, good to have you here. I think it's our first physical meet this year.
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
And Okiki, with heightened security, like we've learned from Osun State, the restrictions around some sensitive locations, the INEC office has been cordoned off. Where should authorities draw the line between securing an election and restricting legitimate civic activities?
Yeah, I think basically what we need to look at and what the authorities need to know is the fact that in all they are doing, they should consider necessity, consider the proportionality, and consider the legality of what they're doing. It is very important that we have our security men in place and have sensitive places cordoned off for security reasons. However, we should ensure that individuals, citizens who are supposed to vote in an election are not disenfranchised or are not bullied, in a way that they will not be able to come out to cast their votes on the day of the election. You can be very sure and certain that certain persons in the state right now probably be afraid. There's been reports of killings and a lot of insecurity issues in the state prior to now, and I know which we know that the authorities are probably trying all they can to ensure that that does not escalate or does not happen again. But notwithstanding, I believe that as they put those things in place, what they need to ensure is that the things they're doing, the fact that they're trying to reduce movement and ensure that people are safe, is it legal? Is it are they doing are they doing it within the confines of the law, and are they doing it in a proportional state? Not that they're doing it so much that it will affect the election itself.
So there's also concerns over the reported rise in political violence. I'm wondering what consequences should candidates or supporters face if they attempt to disrupt the election?
Well, the law is clear about disrupting an election and even damaging public properties. The law is very clear about that. The Constitution is very clear on it. The fact that if you damage the property of the government, it's a criminal offense, and such a person will be treated as a criminal. And now, even with the election, if you snatch a ballot box, tear the voters, the ballot papers, you can be very sure that the electoral act already states and then speaks about that so much that for such a party, the person is treated as a criminal and is dealt with, within the confines of the law. You can also be sure and be certain that when that kind of thing happens, you can the authorities and the judiciary, they are well empowered, to deal with that kind of situation. However, in dealing with that situation and dealing with it as a criminal, act, it is certain, and we should also, put our minds to the fact that these things are being done, to ensure that we reduce the rate of abuse or, disruptions, and teach other people lessons to ensure that it doesn't happen in the nearest future.
So the Constitution provides for laws guiding election violence, snatching of ballot boxes or tearing of election papers. But how many of these cases have we seen follow through till the end? Have we seen anybody who's been made an example of that might serve as a deterrent to others who might want to take advantage of certain of these polls to make violence? We haven't seen that now, have we? Not many.
Not so many, and plainly, the way it is in our country, most times, a majority of the people feel the need not to approach the court. When you have a law and nobody is testing the law, trying to put it to work, nothing will happen. The law
if it happens in plain sight, Okiki, if it happens in plain sight and if there is a culprit and there are victims, does anybody have to approach the law? The courts, the law should take its place, now, shouldn't it?
The law should. But the fact about it is that there must be a complainant. If nobody's complaining about what has happened, right, it means that you can't really do anything about it there. But you need to have witnesses, and those things are what the court will use. The court is not a further Christmas that we can just go to and say, oh, this has happened, and then the court says, I'm going to grant this. There must be witness. We must have a witness, And apart from that, in fact, you must be very certain, because a criminal offense is not just proven by, oh, I saw this and this happened. It must be beyond a reasonable doubt. So in that case, the security agencies, they have the duty of ensuring that there's security. If they are not at that particular place at that time, they need witnesses, they need people to complain and say, oh, this has happened here, and therefore we want to press charges. And then you take it up, and then those people who were there at that particular time can stand as witness and ensure that things, are done properly within the ambit of the law. Yeah.
I'm gonna double down on this because security is a big rubric when it comes to the Osun State elections.
Yeah.
Now, the authorities have said that 4 policemen will be posted to each polling unit. I'm wondering if these police officers, 4 each, are enough. Now, if police officers are witness to these kinds of illegalities, do I still need an individual to approach the court?
Well, if like I said, if you have the security agencies on ground and they are saying it, and they took note of everything, in fact, probably took videos of it, it's very sure, it's a clear case. It's a clear case of insecurity, that something has happened, and therefore they can easily charge that to court. But I'm speaking regarding places where we don't have the police, we don't have these security forces around. I'm certain, just like it has been said, that we have 4 policemen. Some polling units will probably still not have policemen, and you can be sure you probably have some other security forces around. Maybe not, maybe 1, maybe 2, but some will probably not have enough. And where it happens that way, you need the citizens to also lend their voices and say what they have seen and probably make a complaint about it. But when we have the police, it's a very clear case, and that can be treated, as a criminal case.
What about the political parties? The political parties, the candidates, can they legally challenge conduct that they believe threatens the credibility of the election?
Certainly, yes.
Before Saturday? Before
Saturday, yes. So now, before Saturday, a political party can approach the court. In fact, get an order of court. If the particular political party feels that by not, having that, maybe the security atmosphere around the place is very poor and bad, and feel that, okay, this is what we need for this election to be, free and fair, you can approach the court, get an order of court to ensure that that particular agency puts in place what they're supposed to put in place as a government agency. So before the election, if a particular agency feels that, a particular party feels that at this particular point in time, this is what we need, a court can be approached. You can get an ex parte order quickly, to ensure and to put in place any agency of government that you need, to work, as long as the court can agree with you. Sure, that can happen.
All right. Okiki, Okiki, you're not from Osun State, are you?
I'm from Osun State.
Ah, grand. I can't ask you the next question. It's okay. Okiki,
ask.
No. We're going to go into too much detail there. Yeah. But thank you very much, Okiki, for coming in physically into the studio to have this conversation with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome.